Newton's first law of motion, often called the law of inertia, can be observed with a coin in water. According to this law, an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will continue in motion at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. When you pull the paper, a coin will fall into the water. Initially, the coin moves downward due to gravity. However, once it enters the water, the coin's motion is affected by several forces. These include buoyancy, drag, and gravity. Initially, the coin will continue to move downward due to its inertia, its tendency to maintain its current state of motion. As it encounters water resistant drag force, its velocity decreases, and eventually the coin will come to a stop, settling at the bottom of the water body or floating depending on its density compared to water. This example demonstrates how the concept of inertia applies in fluid dynamics, where external forces like drag oppose the motion of an object in water, gradually bringing it to rest or altering its path.
For Newton's first law, the situation is pushing a shopping cart. In a supermarket aisle, a shopping cart is at rest when it remains still. The cart will remain at rest unless a force is applied, in accordance with Newton's first law. You provide force to the shopping cart when you push it. The cart begins to move when this force overcomes its inertia or inclination to remain at rest. You must apply force in the opposite direction of the cart's motion in order to stop it. The cart's inertia is countered by this force, which causes it to slow down until it stops completely. In summary, pushing a shopping cart illustrates Newton's first law by showing how an external force is needed to change the motion of the cart and how the cart's motion is influenced by inertia and opposing
Newton's
force.
second law. The situation is pulling a luggage with a different mass. As we know, the force of the object is equal with the mass of object and acceleration. So, for this situation, the force needed to pull luggage depends on its mass and how fast you want to accelerate it. Acceleration in this context refers to how quickly we can change the speed of the luggage. It is either to start it from the rest or to change its speed while it is already in motion. If the luggage B is more heavier than luggage A, so it requires more force to move at the same speed as luggage.
Next, pushing a shopping cart with different mass. When pushed empty or lightly loaded shopping cart, it has less mass. According to F equals to ma, the cart's acceleration increases as its mass decreases. So the cart will accelerate more easily with the same amount of pushing force. On the other hand, when push-loaded shopping cart, it has a higher mass. As a result, the cart's acceleration will be reduced as its mass increases. Hence, the cart will move slowly and need more effort to change the pace. Newton's second law applies in both cases. It demonstrates that the acceleration of the shopping cart is proportional to both the force applied and the cart's mass. Pushing a heavier cart takes more force to attain the same acceleration as a lighter cart.
Standing in the context of Newton's third law of motion involves the interaction between your body and the ground, which exemplifies the principles outlined by this law. Newton's third law of motion states, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Let me explain how this applies to standing. When you stand on the ground, your body exerts a downward force on the ground due to gravity pulling you towards the earth. This force is the action. According to Newton's third law, the ground simultaneously exerts an equal and opposite force upward on your body. This force is the reaction. The downward force of gravity acting on you is balanced by the upward reaction force from the ground. This balance of forces allows you to remain stationary and not accelerate downward or upward. Standing upright involves maintaining stability and equilibrium through continuous adjustments of your body's position and muscle contraction. Your muscles contract to maintain posture and counteract the gravitational force pulling you down. When you stand on the ground, your feet exert pressure on the ground. The ground reacts by pushing back with a normal force. This interaction ensures you to remain supported and stable on the
Next,
ground.
the application for Newton's third law is hold an item. According to Newton's third law of motion, there is an equal and opposite reaction to every action. When two items interact, this law is applicable. There is an interaction between your hand and the object you hold in your hand. Your hand applies pressure to the object in an upward, and at the same time, the items applies a downward force that is equal to and opposite from your hand. The force exerted by the object downward on your hand is equivalent to the force exerted by your hand upward on it. This is important because it indicates that the forces are balanced, which prevent either object from accelerating in the opposite direction. In summary, when holding an item, the action force is downward gravitational pull of the item, and the reaction force is the upward force exerted by your hand. Newton's third law is demonstrated here by the equal and opposite forces involved in keeping the item in your hand.